Now, Arians did have a message yesterday. We talked about this split squad, sanctioned workout, unsanctioned workout, Tom Brady and his band of merry men at the Yankees facility, and the guys who are working out under the auspices of the Buccaneers in their OTA sessions. Here's Arians being asked a question about the fact that plenty of guys aren't there for him to evaluate.
What did you not see today that you wish you had seen?
About 10 more players. These guys out here working their ass off, but I'd like to see about 10 more of them that are fighting for jobs that they don't know they're fighting for.
Technically, coaches are not allowed to say anything that would suggest that these sessions are not voluntary. And frankly, if the union wanted to create an issue, they could. I don't think they will. But that's one of the reasons why, when the union launched this effort to stay away from the OTAs, we said, hey, there are guys who need to be there, or they're not going to have a chance to compete for one of the roster spots. It's one of the things that makes this different from a regular union. You got 90 guys on that roster right now for the Buccaneers. 37 of them will not be on the roster come week 1. And there are 10 of them that don't realize the trouble they're in, and they're not there for Bruce Arians to see what they're able to do as of right now. And that's the conversation that needs to be had between player and agent.
Yeah.
So the player is aware
of his
of the jeopardy that the player's in.
No doubt. Or the player needs to call the coaches too, and kind of get the whatever give me the lay of the land. What's going on? See,
and Arians will tell you.
Arians will tell you. I would think everybody on that staff would shoot you straight. I don't think Bruce would hire a guy unless, he just shoots it straight. That's the way he is. That's why he's awesome.
Get your ass in here.
Right, yeah. And he said it. You're right. He's kind of flirting with breaking the rules by saying that. But I also think he says it out of, the goodness of his heart to be, kind of send a warning to these players. Like, hey, man, come on. You don't know sometimes. Again, a quarterback is different. You know when you're having to compete. Oh, they drafted this guy. They signed him as a free agent. Sometimes you could be, and this is not the best scenario, a middle linebacker, right? I know the Bucs and the linebackers are good, and they don't have to worry about anything. But, you could be a middle linebacker who's been starting the last 2 or 3 years. And maybe there's a guy going into year 2 at linebacker, and then they drafted a guy in the 4th or 5th round. You might not really realize that the organization is kind of not as happy with your play as you are, and that there is a thought of replacing you until you are at the facility. And all of a sudden you start doing things that are rep-oriented, right, Mike? That's when sometimes players realize, oh, crap, I took the first 3 reps with the first team, but the first team stayed out there, and they put the other guy in for the last 3 reps. Uh-oh, I'm competing for my job. Sometimes players don't really know that they're on the line that way until they're out with the team and they're doing drills and things like that, and there's a pecking order thrown out there by the coach of your position, and you start to realize, wait, holy crap, I might not be assured to be the starter here or make the team. And I think that's what Bruce Arians is speaking to, and I think that's a big problem around the league right now with some of these middle to older veteran-type players.
And what's surprising about this is Bruce Arians presumably has gotten his point across already, and those guys still aren't there.
I would think so.
And my guess is he's made sure they know.
Right. I would think so.
Even if you don't say it directly to the player, you're never going to get in trouble with the union for calling up a player's agent and saying, you better tell your guy to get his ass here if he wants a job this season, because he doesn't realize that he's in a competition. And again, that's what makes this whole union construct awkward. You've got union brethren who are all vying for the same limited number of jobs, and it's not easy to get the players to engage in collective action like that to stay away when a certain number of them really need to be there because they're being evaluated and there's less opportunity to evaluate.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.